Hello and please welcome to the stage. It's Willis the Poet, everyone. Hooray! Hello, yes, here I am, Rick Saunders, aka Willis the Poet. I'm like the Vera Lynn of poetry. Yes, entertaining the troops in these most difficult of times because we're in lockdown Britain, aren't we? Lockdown Britain. So I'm going to do a series of online virtual gigs. They're a bit like real gigs, really. So I'm in a really tiny space. There's nobody here, and I'm not getting paid. Here we go. Some of my poems are long poems, some of my poems are not. Thank you. Excellent. This poem was about the crushing disappointment of youth. It's called Wicket Keeper. When I was 13 or maybe 14, all I wanted to do was play cricket, more specifically to keep wicket. The wicket keeper, the keeper of the wickets, the man behind the sticks, always in the thick of it. If there's a snick or a nick, he's all over it like an oil slick, quicker than you can say, quick. Lickety split, flick of the ball, lick of the lips, and it's how's that? That's out. I loved the massive gloves, the little half-size pads, the fact there wasn't any running while all the other lads were sprintity sprint, infield, outfield, outfield, infield. While the keeper, no risk of stitch from his stroll up the pitch and between overs in his short sleeve pullover, all casual like. No need to get on his bike. They rarely ever got to bat. The proper batsman did all that, battity bat bat. While the keeper, he just sat back, sunbathing on the balcony with extra sarnies and a nice cup of tea. Yeah, wiki was the job for me, but it was not to be. My dreams were smashed, my hopes dashed, stumped, you might say. And it annoys me to this day, but to play for club and country, league, test or 2020 vision was required. Otherwise you just weren't hired. And turning up for trials in your milk bottle bottom NHS specs saw you straight to the bottom of the list. Early shower, slap on the wrist for wasting the selector's time after time after time. But the test and county board came to its senses, and now the jammy sods can all wear contact lenses. Thank you. I'm going to do a haiku now for all you pudding fans out there. Here's my pudding haiku. My haiku about puddings contains spot on 17 syllabubs. Excellent. Thank you. Dashing through it now. Some of my poems are long poems. Then again, yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? This, loving every minute. Right, this poem is it's called Fat Balls. It's normally a join in poem. You can join in at home if you want, but I'm going to do it solo. Solo this. Fat Balls. I've been in the garden a lot because we've all been in our gardens, haven't we? Recently with the sun and all that and the weather. Fat balls. There's nothing I like more than hanging out my fat balls. Delicious dangling dumplings, my fat balls. Tempting, tasty tidbits, my fat balls. Attracting all the birds from far and wide, my fat balls. But yesterday, a squirrel, he got on my fat balls. He chewed through the stringy sack of my fat balls, and now my fat balls are flat balls. Thank you. Here's a poem that I normally do for children's parties. You'll be surprised, I go to quite a few. It's called The Morbid Stench of Death. There is a morbid stench of death about this place that sees a fetid grimace cross the pallid face of every man that stands upon the threshold to these gates of hell, who peer into the fathomless insipid well of pitiless despair, to stand and stare, and feast eyes upon the living, breathing essence of remorse. Dante's Inferno, free to run its course, where aimless souls are set to spend their feckless days cowed down like underdogs. As Satan's bullwhip flays their grey flesh from their sorrid slackened backs, no mercy shown, as their resolve now cracks. Heads bowed, they slump on bended knee, resigned before the fate they clearly see, amidst the screaming carnal bestial noise of the chilly kiddies, soft play wacky house of fun for girls and boys. Yes, that's one for all your parents out there. We've all been there, haven't we? Thank you. Some of my poems are long poems. Yep. Okay, I'm going to finish with a little haiku here. It's a little haiku. So some people said, oh, you'll never be published, Willis the Poet, because you should. But here we go. I was published in the 100 Haikus about Boris Becker's breakfast. Not only did it have to be a haiku, ladies and gentlemen, but it had to also, every word had to begin with the letter B. Quite challenging, that, quite challenging. I'm number 54 in the 100. I don't think it's on merit order, otherwise I think I'll be a bit nearer the front. But anyway, there we go. Right. Boris backhands bad bacon bap behind bread bin, bewitched by Bran. Oh. So that's the poetry section over. So I had a challenge to do 30 minutes of busking. So I thought I'd give you the classic buskers, the Buskers Ode, isn't it? It's Streets of London by Ralph Motel. In 3, 2, 1.